And part of what we mean by that is you're just not quite content with status quo, that everything has to be that way because somebody else told you that. People that strive to do not only better for them, for their clients, that's all of you, we know that, but you want to do better for yourself and your firm, get more efficient, and maybe for those of you that are really looking to the cloud to say, you know, let's try to do something different, use some of this technology, turn it a little bit on our to our advantage, and see if we can't make something exciting happen for our firm just with a technology play. So what we hope to teach you in this seminar, or hope to communicate to you in this seminar, is how what we have called the DDIY model can help you with your accounting practice to serve your client, become a better advisor. We know you do a lot of advising now. As we read numerous surveys and do surveys of our own, we hear more and more small businesses, medium-sized businesses out there saying, what's the number one thing you'd like to get out of your accountants? And they all say the same thing, and that is, help me run a better business, become a better business advisor, and help me with my business, not just the numbers. We'll talk about how you're going to be able to do that, and what I think is very exciting. It's been mentioned, I've been in this business for 30-some-odd years. I practiced back and learned on trial balance when it was on 12-column paper, Lotus 1, 2, 3, for those of you that go back that far, some of the antiquated DOS tools that we all struggled with, and now we're looking at not only just a better solution, but using technology to really help us improve our profitability. And how do I do that without adding any more clients or staff? And we're going to talk through that here in just a bit. Okay, so one of the more important developments in recent history is this. We all know the DIY model. You know, this is the model introduced back in the 80s by QuickBooks, by Intuit. It really transformed accounting in a lot of ways. So it put accounting and a lot of the basic bookkeeping functions in the hands of the small business owner, whether they wanted to or not. But it replaced a lot of manual processes. And so for those of us that were on the receiving side of those files on 5 1/4 floppies or 3 1/2-inch floppies, or through email eventually, you know, it did make things a little bit better for us. We weren't trying to read handwriting and some other challenging things, but at the same time, with that power comes some inefficiencies and some challenges. And a big part of that was in how it was designed, and that's why we say why. So we've all lived through this. That started, as we said, you know, in the 80s, continued in the 90s, and now into the 2000s, and we're going to try and show you how to really get ahead of that curve. One challenge with the problem, and we've heard this even recently in the last several months, is a belief that accounting software by itself, the software can make accounting painless for small businesses. Well, many of us would disagree with that, and I certainly think it would be almost impossible to make accounting invisible, just because you can do some things with software and get out of double entry type things and just ask questions and have everybody run their business on a you know, a tiered set of questions, and that's not how we see accounting working at all. In fact, we believe that this current model puts accounting, the do-it-yourself model puts accounting software at the center of accounting, just as we said. And as you can see, the software is telling the clients and interacting directly with the clients, and hopefully you can see this outer loop here. You see that you're on the outside, always looking in. So what we're trying to communicate in this particular graph is that the accounting software was at the center of this accounting function, and the clients were interacting with the software, and then periodically, whether it was weekly, monthly, or yearly for a lot of you, they would pull you in, and you would spend a lot of time first fixing their messes and cleaning things up, trying to understand what they did, ask a lot of questions, make sure you got the right version, complete files, and you spend a lot of time because, again, you're on this outer loop, right? So we ask the question, is this really the right model? Is this the right accounting model? Or is it more around something different? And we're going to talk through that. Some of these systems based on DIY, you know, whether they're desktop or cloud-based, but there's a lot of them out there that have gone through this same process. Again, with the software here in the middle, as I said. And a lot of these systems, you know, there's some from QuickBooks, Sage, Xero, NetSuite, you see them. And the reason why Ben said what he said earlier is that we don't believe this is the right model for the most efficient use of your time and your client's time, more importantly, and the best way to deliver accounting services. In fact, we think that there's a model a lot different, and that's why we've put accountants first in our model, and we want to talk through that. We think the solution is to put you at the center of the model. And we understand the reality that no accounting software can make accounting painless for the small businesses. Only you can. You all went to school. Many of you sat for the exam as I did. You understand accounting intimately. You do it every day. Your small business, medium-sized businesses, they do not. And we think the only way to make accounting have less pain is for you to be at the center of the action. And this will also help you become a better advisor as well. So let's talk through what that might look like graphically. We call it the Accountant-Centric DDIY model. And as you can see in this model, right, you're at the center of the action. You're connected directly to each of your clients, and they're connected directly to you. And then you have the software, as Ben mentioned earlier, we call it Accounting Power. It surrounds you and surrounds your clients in an all-encompassing way in which to facilitate accounting, okay? So you're at the center, and that's very key as we go through this presentation. We've heard people talk about cloud-based solutions and collaboration now for a couple years. We're going to show you what it really means, okay? And I think with that, John, I think we've got our first poll question that we'd like to bring up at this point. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm going to launch the poll right now.
Poll number one, John?
Yep, here it is. Okay, the poll's open, Jeff.
Okay. So the poll question is, the model that puts accountants back at the center of client accounting is the right model for accounting software. And we're just trying to get a real quick opinion. We know you haven't been exposed to this much. Strongly agree, somewhat disagree, disagree, strongly disagree. So if you'll answer that, we'll take a look at those results here and leave it open for a few more seconds there, John. How are we doing, John? We just about got that.
Yes, I'm going to share the results now.
Okay. And just read them off to me, John, in percentage, if you don't mind.
Sure. 40% strongly agree, 33% agree, 23% somewhat agree, 0% disagree, and 3% strongly disagree.
Okay. So I'm not sure where that 3% strongly disagree came from, but we'll take that for what. So 97% of us absolutely are in agreement to really agree that the client accounting and the accountant-centered model is the right model for your small business, and equally important, if not more important, for you. So we're going to talk through just exactly what that means. That's really no surprise. As we've done this poll in the past and over the years, we see that there's a strong belief that the model out there is just ongoing problematic, and we want to try to improve on that model, and are looking for ways in which we could change the game to the benefit of the CPA firm, and the accountant. So let's talk through that for a minute. As we mentioned, Accounting Power is the name of our product, and it puts the power of accounting in your hands. Here you can see a brief graphic of what the professional system has obviously write-up, trial balance, financial system, alerts, client management. We're going to take you through that. We'll also show you on the access screen the bookkeeping module, which is typical what your client, your small business would be interested in. And the key that I want you to focus on is this overlap here. And what we mean by that is that's not only where you collaborate, but you control it. This is the only software in this industry that gives you, the CPA, the accountant, the control over it to your clients at the feature functionality level. And we're going to take you through that here in just a second. All right. So what does DDIY mean? You notice up to this point I haven't really said it, what the acronym means. We know what DIY stands for, do it yourself. The DDIY, if you've already read ahead on my slide, don't decide it yourself. That's the message we want you to get out there to your small business clients. Look, don't just buy right into upgrading into QuickBooks Online. Don't do that. Come, let's talk. Let's get on the phone, and let's just work on this together to make accounting a lot less painful for you and help you run a better business. And we're going to show you exactly how to make that happen and become a much better advisor and a true advisor by helping them manage their business and accommodating all of their needs. So let's talk through that just a bit. Your clients typically fall into a couple, 3 or 4 different categories. And you can, these are kind of generalizations, but there are definitely those who don't want to have anything to do with any of the accounting hassle. Some that don't mind having some involvement or need to have some involvement for a lot of different reasons. Clients who can't move away from writing manual checks, they just can't get around online banking or don't want to get away into online banking. There's other inhibitors that keep them from doing that. And there are some that must use another program that really suit their needs, whether that's high inventory or job costing or contract type businesses. We understand that as well. What we're going to take you through is a couple different ways in which to address each of these different categories. So let's go with the first option, clients who want no accounting hassle. This complete accounting service, CAS as we call it, eliminates the hassle for clients to do any of the accounting in their office. Your firm, you'll pay the bills, enter the transactions, do the bank rec and trial balance, do budgets, manage the cash flow, watch key drivers, obviously prepare financials, and offer payroll services as well. This is obviously an excellent option for your firm, and we think it's a great option for the small business you've been out there serving. Now, this has been a little bit problematic and cumbersome to do in the old distributed model where they were either emailing you files, putting files up on a portal, running software of a different version. But as I mentioned before, we're in the cloud now, and not only do we just say that, but you saw the overlapping slides a few slides back right here. Let's just back up a second. Right here in the middle, this is one unified system, one unified database, one version of the software that you control, okay? And we'll talk through that a little bit more. But those are some of the major things that you can do when your client doesn't want to have any hassle. So let's take you through a few slides, and the next several screens here are actually right out of the application, so you'll get to see kind of live what it looks like. So step one, let's just talk through paying a bill, okay? In this case, High Power Energy Engineering, they sent your client, Widget Manufacturing, an invoice. So Widgets just picked up the invoice, they scanned it in, they sent it to us. They could have done that through a secured email, or they could have put it out there in the portal, which is part of our suite, and we pull up the document. As soon as we pull up the document, we match the name High Power Energy Corp to the vendor, which we have already set up. We see that there is a bill due. We see the invoice right here. We enter the amount, we're done, okay? Client didn't have to do anything other than just scan it in and send it. That's it. Okay? Now, the next step is approve the payment. You can set this up where either the client says, you know what, I want you to enter all the bills for me, manage everything, and I want you to also pay the bills. You can approve them as you see fit and as we have, enough money. Well, obviously right here I show my bank balance right there. That's current as of today, as of this moment in an online system. And I can select these bills to pay, and here's my high power engineering bill, and I can enter the amount and click to pay. So that's one way in which you're controlling it. You could set that up internally among two different people to have a checks and balance, or you can have a client have the ability to select which ones to pay, and you just execute after the client has given you approval. So you can either do it all in-house, or they make the approval process with you, and they're involved with you. Again, all collaboratively, all in one system, all in the cloud, all real-time and current. Okay? Perform trial balance work. We know you need to do that. You see this trial balance. We're viewing a period of a couple months back, 2/28/2015. You see these different colors, these transactions. Everywhere these numbers are lit up in a different color is a drill down capability, and you can drill right down into the detail of that item. So on this first one, we have this first line, the sale of widgets, and we see some transactions in here, and we want to drill down right into that, and we would click on that slide, and you would see that we would get this view right here, which is the same number as we just described. So you can see easy drill down capability. What's the detail around that $89,000? Well, let's take a look. Let's click. And we see the transactions that have come through, and we can look and even keep going further. Again, you see a different color, which means we want to reference that or drill down into it. We have a transaction here to Big Dan's machinery, and so we want to click here and drill right down into the source data, and there you go. You can see Big Dan and the amount here that we have posted, widget sales. We had other things with Big Dan, some different products and services, but we wanted to just look at what he bought from us, which was widgets. And again, we can click right here. I backed up a screen. Now I'm going to click, and I see my $15,000 amount right here. Okay. So now what are we doing? We are seeing the ability to view our client's data at the lowest level of detail, all current, up to date, within the day, okay, with just a few easy clicks of the mouse. We entered the invoice, we approved it, we paid it, we went and looked at our trial balance, we viewed some sales activity, and then we viewed exactly which customer they came from and what did the invoice look like, okay? But that's not all we need to do. Obviously, we need to do some financials. Financial statements, they are very powerful and very flexible, and this is one of the keys that we see in our product versus some of the DIY products that are geared more towards consumer-based financials. These financials allow you to create a customized set for each client and or for each situation. So if a client wants to see everything that went on, this particular client only has a couple different lines of operating revenue, widgets and miscellaneous, but maybe he needs to send the bank or do something else with his financials, so he wants to just, collapse and combine a few items. Okay, that's easily done in our system. Here you see where we said financials, and what we want to do, we want to combine current and year-to-date, and so now we see that operating revenue just has one line, $109,000 in sales. And you could do that on virtually every single line. So you could collapse a lot, here is a lot of detail. Maybe you don't need to see each item, like this in this detail, and you want to just combine items. You can do that. You can do it for the current period, year-to-date, quarterly and year-to-date, okay? So again, the ability to do this right here in the cloud, real time. We also want to point out that this product, okay, we don't install anything on your system, so everything you're seeing here, widget manufacturing, and we're looking at a view of the financial statements. This is all browser and device agnostic. So if you're running on an Apple, that's fine. If you're running on a Droid and you want to look at it on a phone, you can. We don't recommend you do trial balance work on a telephone, but that's a joke. That's okay. We get it. But you can do a lot of things and approve a lot of things from any device, anytime. As long as you have access to the internet, you're good to go. Okay. Let's talk through now one of my favorite screens. This is called a snapshot screen. Okay, and what this snapshot screen shows me is all of my clients, okay? And as a CPA, I come in and look at this every day, and I'm looking for anything that's in red on this screen, okay? So I've got a couple of lines here. I've got one down under Sunshine Times, and there's a suspense amount, okay? And I can set up this system and these columns any way I want. So if cash were a big issue for my small business and I wanted it to create an alert for me, anytime it fell below $10,000, then I might do that. You know, I might set up that, and that number right there would be red. In this case, I have a suspense column coming up as red, and then down on widget, I have a check amount for $18,000. So maybe I set up with the client, send me a warning anytime there's a check amount over a certain amount. Maybe it was $15,000 in this case. And I come in every day and I look at my snapshot of all my clients. And then I decide if I need to take care of an item myself or with my staff, or do I need to send a client an email or a text message, or do I need to pick up the phone and give him a call and go over a few things. This is one way in which you are dealing with real-time data in a real-time world. You're not waiting for items to come through at the end of the month. As long as the client is giving you the information and it's getting entered into the system, obviously you're current up to that moment. So if it's every day, great. If it's every week, that's great. But you have the ability now in one screen, you know, and obviously you can scroll up and down if you have more than will physically fit on one screen, and see in one quick snapshot where you're at with all your clients each and every day, and you can see that in real time, okay? So we're just really excited about the ability of and the power of this system to have everything in one database and all have it updated where we can see it and not have to wait until a post-mortem activity or event occurs, and now we have to go back and recreate or try to understand what's going on. I can also expose to each of my clients, my small businesses that I'm supporting as a CPA, this dashboard. And this is something they can go look at each day. Again, as long as the information is current, this dashboard is going to get updated. So this dashboard is customizable for each and every one of your clients. You can set it up one way for all of your clients. You can set it up if you want to have all your car dealers, you know, see the same kind of dashboard. You could do it by industry or business type. You can set them all up across your entire firm the same way, or you can customize it for each one. So in this particular dashboard, top left, we're looking at actual versus budget on income for the whole year of 2014. How did we do? Actuals in orange, budgets in blue. You can quickly get a view of what this looks like. We can also see our rolling 12-month profit and loss comparison. You know, just take a quick look at this line graph. We have the ability down here to see projected cash balances for your primary account. Look how important that is. You know, you can see, okay, where am I going to be with cash? I've got a big purchase I need to make. Here's where I'm starting. If I've got big payables out there to be made or big invoices coming in, I can see that. Quick look at the cash accounts, and again, you see these in different colors. Means the same thing. I can drill down and drill deep and see exactly what's going on in my cash account for checking and my payroll account. Quick look of a pie chart over here of where my money is being spent, what items, okay, and what that might look like on a year-to-date basis. And then over here, show me some totals. Show me some balances due, customer balances. These are receivable balances. You know, total due $343, and you can see those amounts. So this slide and this screen is incredibly powerful. And if you think through that, it goes back to the old analogy that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And not only have we gotten great input from our customers, and they continue to give us more input, and we continue to enhance, but the first time we put it out, the request that came was, can we print these? Because our clients still want to look at it in paper, but they loved it. And so the answer to that is yes, you can print these as well. You can also create miscellaneous links over here. If you're frequently, your client needs to want to go to the trial balance or look at the income statement. Again, these items will be as current as the data is that's entered, or look at what alerts might be set up, or look at some key financial ratios. Those are links that you can set up and your client can go access right here on this dashboard. Okay? So let's keep going. Maybe you have a client that wants some involvement. You customize the system for them. They want to do a few things, but you still want to have control. Okay? This is probably my favorite screen in the whole system from a functionality standpoint. And why? Because it's our permissions screen. So within each client, you can set up how much or how little you want to allow them to do. So let's say this particular client, you're going to let them do the basic banking, okay? And you're going to let them do some things in receivables, such as create invoices, make payments, create product and service invoices, enter bills, pay bills. But when it comes down to the reports or anything financial, you're not going to give them access at all, okay? And so all down here, these would be left blank, right? Now, you can set up where every client can have complete access to everything. We don't necessarily recommend that unless you know the client well enough and they have a well-established accounting department and accounting process. But you control it, and this screen allows you to control it at the functionality level, right? So if you just want them to create invoices, that's it, then that would be the only thing you would have checked. Oh, you want to let them pay bills, enter bills and pay bills, those would be the only items you would allow them to have checked, okay? So this screen allows you to really customize the system just the way you want to interact. Now, it's not one size fits all here either. You set this up for each client. Again, you have one client that's very sophisticated, very good at accounting. Their stuff's always ties out. Excuse me. Maybe they've got access to everything except the financials. You have another client that's just getting started. They've already told you, I want you to take care of all accounting and all things related and just help me, let me focus on running the business. Then you're not going to give them access to anything. So those are kind of two extremes. And then you have all the derivatives in between those two ends of the spectrum to control. But again, you control it, and you and only you can get to the screen within the system. Okay? Now, option 3, maybe you just want to do some after-the-fact write-up work. Well, there's still ways to automate this, and one of the key ways to automate this is in a feature that we released earlier this year with automated bank feeds. The bank feeds this is just an awesome feature. And the way it works is you log into the system, you give your client access to the system, they log into this particular screen and set up which banks they're dealing with. They enter the password and grant you access to that account. One time, we save it from there on. Okay, you don't have access to withdraw money or put money in that account. All you have access to is to see transactions that have gone on in that account and pull them down automatically. Okay, so this has just been a huge time saver. We've even put together a very brief 15 to 30 minute webinar on all the ways in which this can be used. But in this case, we support over 10,000 banks and S&Ls in North America. We just go out, we log in, we grab that account, we just download, and here it comes, right? And this gives us all the details you can see right here and all the different things that have happened in this particular checking account, et cetera, and where we put it. So we map these to the appropriate offset accounts, as you can see here, and In this case, we have here's conference and seminars, here's the amount, and the offset is obviously cash through the checking account. So you can see all of those accounts automatically download, and they're automatically mapped for you to do the journal entry for you, okay? So this automated bank feed saves you hundreds of hours and a whole lot of money. So we're just very excited about that, especially with a lot of small and medium-sized businesses where cash is king and everything they do is centered in and around cash. Hopefully you like that. This is where small applause is appreciated. The team worked really hard to get this going. Okay. Option 4. So the client has another system that they just have to use, you know, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. Certainly we're going to import data from that system to perform the trial balance, give you the power of the better financial capabilities, and export it right back to them. And we have that capability with all your major packages that your client may have to stay with. And we have some standard abilities to export to just Excel if that's the way they want it to get it in or out as well. Okay, so those kind of are the 4 major options, and we obviously think that no one size fits every single client that you have, but certainly getting to that complete accounting system for a lot of businesses makes a lot of sense, right? So when we kind of recap the DIY model for a minute, just going to back up here for just a minute, of the do-it-yourself model, you know, it was the only real option that we had back in the desktop era. And most cloud systems that have come out to this date have just followed the desktop platform and feature set, and it's created a lot of hassles, you know, whether it's version control, whether it's moving files back and forth, whether it's incomplete data. It wasn't created for you and for the professional, that's for sure. And you certainly didn't have any control over what your clients did and how they made challenging issues and messes of things for you. In some cases, you know, it even weakened client relationships. You know, we've all heard the question, I don't know why you charge me so much when I'm doing most of the work, and we know that's simply not true. But certainly the DIY model brought in that mindset. What do I pay my accountant for anyway, right? And that's not what we're talking about at all. Remember, we believe you are the only ones that can truly make accounting easy for your clients. So let's take a look at the don't decide it yourself model. Well, first and foremost, it's been made possible by the cloud. You couldn't do this in a distributed model where the client had a potentially different version than you did. It's been, and some of the early cloud models still didn't have this real collaboration out there, and none of them have the ability for you to control the software for your client. When you have vendors out there selling directly to the small business, how do you have any control over what they install, where they install it, or how they use it? The answer is you don't, right? So this model doesn't work that way. We just sell it to you. You bring them on board. It's designed for professionals. The collaboration with our product is just really exciting. Not only can you see and control what they can actually do, but you can see what they've done. And when they're updating, you know, again, hopefully weekly, you would love it if it was daily, but when they're updating, you're updated because you're in the same version of the software, the same data of the software, the same database of the software, all the same. You can customize your services to meet each client's needs. We talked about that earlier, you know, offer, you know, where you take everything on or they take on a good portion of it and you're doing selected pieces of it, but you certainly are going to get closer. And when I mean closer to the actual transaction event by working in a collaborative, runtime, real-time model versus waiting to the end of the month, quarter, or even the end of the year. This offers the ability for you to have complete accounting and CFO services because you're looking at their data as current as their data is entered, okay? And this, folks, we really believe is the future of client accounting. We really do. We think the model of just constantly waiting and waiting and post-mortem activity, by definition, that hasn't changed. We understand that. But the timing between when the transaction occurred and when you got knowledge of it or information about it, instead of that being as long as a year or more, why not make that much closer to when it actually happened so that you can help them run a better business? Okay, we really believe that. Our products, Ben mentioned it earlier, the Power Practice System includes several key components. We've talked a lot about Accounting Power today, and those were the screens we showed you. We also have a product called Website Relief. That's our website creation tool. If you don't have a website or yours is in need of upgrading, this tool allows you to do it very cleanly and simply. It's also closely tied with our Cloud Cabinet. That is our portal and document management system that the client can interact with you directly and in a secured area. We have a very strong Practice Relief product that helps you manage your business and your practice that's tied with all these other products. Payroll is Relief down on the bottom. That's real-time payroll offering and just a fantastic product that is the source of several webinars we put on that tell you how to get into that space and make money on it, equally important. And certainly we offer after-the-fact payroll and directory listing. So the top 6 are part of what we call a Power Practice bundle. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Directory listing allows you to be listed in your zip code. When they type CPA or accountant on Google, that you come up very high, if not at the top of the list in your area with that directory listing offering. And this, again, we'll talk more about the offering that we're going to present to you here at the end of the presentation. There's obviously seamless integration of our Power Practice System, and this integration allows not only common data to flow, as you see from these indicators, but really to make it accessible at the point in time you need it, regardless of where you start. So if you started with a website and a directory listing, and then your clients entered their data there, then it's going to be immediately available to Accounting Power and Cloud Cabinet and so on and so forth. So truly built around one central database. And I think, John, we have one more poll question to come up at this time. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm going to launch it now. Okay, the poll is up.
Okay, so this poll we're going to ask you pretty straightforward. Now that you know a little bit more about our model, which model lets you make accounting virtually painless for your clients and more profitable for your firm? The existing DIY model or the DDIY model? And again, we're not sure. And we obviously have our beliefs, but we'd like to understand what you believe. So let's leave that open for a few more minutes. Seconds, sorry. Hey, John, how are we doing?
We're just about ready to close the poll.
Okay.
And it looks like 57% agree with Let's Work Together, model created by AccountantsWorld, and 39% are not sure.
Okay, so let's talk through that. I want to address the group that's not sure first. And I get that and I respect that. As a group of professionals, we are the most respected, and our AICPA, our institution, tells us that we're held in higher regards than even the physicians and certainly attorneys. And that relationship that you have with your client is incredibly important and respected, and certainly I understand it at a very detailed level. So those of you that may not be quite sure that this model is there, you might be thinking, could I get my clients to actually come over and let me step them through, or can I ever get them off of software brand XYZ, okay? Those are valid thoughts and valid concerns. But let me suggest to you this. First and foremost, we provide a whole set of marketing materials, PowerPoint presentations for you. We even provide other CPAs that have gone before you with our products and have experienced the same challenges that we can put you in touch with that take you through, don't listen to just us, but how do they get their clients to come over? And one story I will tell you is a client had about 400 small businesses. One of our customers had about 400 small businesses he was serving. He went to this model about 3 years ago, and he got down to the last 3 that wouldn't switch no matter what. And he said, I can't continue to support you this way. I'm either going to have to double my fee that I charge you, or you'll have to switch, or you'll have to go somewhere else. 2 of them switched, and 1 of them he had to let go. And I'm not advocating that's going to work for everybody, but I do think that the online world is here. Cloud technology is here. We're all getting more and more comfortable with doing things such as online banking. Our products are all hosted on Amazon. And so the fundamental question that you can ask yourself, can you get to Amazon? If the answer is yes, then you can get to this product. They're incredibly secure. We subscribe to the highest level of security. We've not had any challenges or breaches. And I heard a partner over the IT group of a large firm tell me the other day of why he went to the cloud and to the public cloud versus having a private cloud. He said, if our system's breached, it's entirely on us. If a system like IBM or somebody else or Microsoft, if their system's breached, then I'm only one of many customers that may be impacted. And I can explain that to my clients. I can't explain it to my clients if I'm holding the entire cloud in my hand, and it's all because of security that I couldn't provide or didn't know to provide, et cetera, et cetera. So those are valid concerns, but I will submit to you this, that we've got the materials to help you get over those hurdles and to help you talk to your clients. And then we have other customers of ours that are CPAs that have done it that we'd be glad to put you in touch with as well to help you get over some of those hurdles. We absolutely believe it's the best way to better serve your clients. So with that, I'm just a couple more slides and a few more minutes, and we'll finish up for today. Other resources and assistance that are available, we have out on AccountantsWorld.com, demos of the product. You'll see different, certainly go out there and sign up at a minimum for our newsletter. We have live demos. We have demos on demand. We have demos you can download. You'll be able to download this presentation if you want to review it here a bit later. We have our sales reps are called practice development consultants, and they really are trying to answer your questions and help you understand the options that you have in front of you. We have full implementation from migration from other products and any other systems to taking you through it at a granular level how to get the most out of the system. We schedule those several times a week, and we just hold your hand all the way through the process. And certainly to reinforce our philosophical belief and why we're different, we have a video out on our website. We put accountants first. We'd love for you to go take a quick look at that video as well. Okay, with that, we have a few next steps and a few things that we'd like to call to action for you. Okay, this is what we want out of you, or would strongly like for you to consider. One, you'll get an email giving you a link for a free subscription. Okay, now this subscription, it's going to sound kind of different, but we're a small company. We're not publicly traded, so we can do things a little bit differently. You can actually choose how long you want to keep your subscription for free, anywhere from 1 month to 6 months. And the PDC is going to walk that through with you, what option would be best for you. And you decide. You want it 1 month, I can get through it, I'm ready to go, or do you want 6 months? I need more time, I want to put some clients up, I want to give it a real try, okay? So you'll get a follow-up email with a link for your free subscription, and then you get a call from our practice development consultant, our PDC, to answer any questions and to help walk you through that. Now, we want to do this in the next 10 days or so. We're not going to keep this out there forever. So we do need you to act with some degree of timeliness with this. We're past tax season. I know you still have a lot of things to do, but if you're going to make a switch, now's a good time to do it, okay? And registration for even more detailed demos of Accounting Power, where our product experts will take you through, you can do it anytime, no charge. Lastly, we have on our website an expert webinar series that we do pretty much monthly now through the end of the year. You can see what the topics are, who the presenters are. I'll be presenting later in the year, and you can get 1 hour of free CPE by registering for those webinars. And with that, I am going to close out the session. Thank you again, as been mentioned earlier, for your time today. We appreciate that more than you believe, and have a great summer, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.